Hello, this is Yon Motgurum.
Hello, this is Go Min-soo.
Chief, you just got back from test driving Hyundai's flagship Ioniq 9. How was it?
As mentioned in the video, it felt premium and smooth.
It's different from the electric vehicle 9.
Honestly, the electric vehicle 9 is more focused on balance, but this one, while it has a good ride quality, feels a bit too soft, so it gives a bit of a wobbly, bouncy feeling.
There are advantages and disadvantages. It's just slightly unique.
The setup, not the hardware, is what differentiates the car. How the hardware is configured determines the type of car it becomes.
Did you find it?
You're
saying you'll show us the reason now, so please show us right away. Banjang-nim, did you find the secret today?
Well, it's not really a secret. It's not a secret.
Truthfully, this problem has persisted for a long time, not just recently.
That's right.
We've been watching since the 3rd generation platform, but when I saw Banjang-nim's eyes today, something felt a bit different.
There are a few things that have changed, and actually, right now we're looking at the front of the Ioniq 9. If you just look at this part, it's hard to tell whether this car is the Ioniq 5 or the Ioniq 9.
That's right, it's a mystery. Even experts would be confused if this is the electric vehicle 9 or the Ioniq 9 just by looking at it.
Since it uses the standardized electric global modular platform as it is, of course, there are some changes as the vehicle size increases, but basically the main framework is the same because they share the same platform. As for the front part, I mentioned this in the electric vehicle 9 video as well, but it uses a McPherson suspension system. But this vehicle is a bit expensive, you know.
Yes, prices including this one have increased, making it more expensive. Everything is going up.
The car's ride quality was very smooth and nice. I wonder how it would have been if they had added double wishbone suspension in the front for a more luxurious feel.
The double wishbone system used in the Genesis method.
That's right.
You know, sir, when discussing luxury and ride comfort, they are like opposite ends of a seesaw, totally different. Some prefer a firmer ride, while others, like my father with the grandeur, believe a luxury car should be soft and cushy.
That's right.
Well, there's no right answer, right? So it's important to quickly figure out your own preferences.
Just drive the car you want. We've discussed McPherson and multi-link suspension systems a few times before.
And in the Formula 222, and another thing, a car we often compare is the Palisade, which is a large internal combustion vehicle. Large cars don't use these two methods.
No, that's not it.
Please explain, what's different about it?
Right now, this one has 2 lower arm balls attached to the knuckle.
It has 2 joints attached?
It has 2 joints attached. And since there are 2, the lower arm also has 2 bushings connected right now.
That's right. One here and here.
But in the case of more basic lower-end vehicles, this is made as a single piece.
It's made as one piece.
Since it's made as one piece, there's only 1 ball here.
Of course, only one thing is fixed at the end.
Right, so when this moves, it holds with 2. And since there's only 1 ball here, it only shows a fixed movement. But this one has separate bushings in the front and back. And if you look at this knuckle here, the poly joint is also split into 2. So when the car moves like this, it doesn't just move in a straight line. The wheels also twist like this.
That's right, of course, depending on the driving conditions.
At times like that, the alignment of the wheels changes like this.
The tires should be making perfect contact with the ground.
How would it differ with 2 balls versus 1?
It would be completely different.
That's right. If the road is properly grounded and the joints are flexible, the damping sound varies due to the different impact angles. Yes, so this is a step more advanced than a regular McPherson. In the Hyundai Kia lineup, the more advanced one above this is the double wishbone.
Let me sum it up. Under the suspension, on what we usually call the lower arm. These 2 methods are more advanced and evolved in regular mass market cars, and in luxury cars above the McPherson strut system, there's the double wishbone with 2 joints in the part where you see the spring. I understand the difference now.
This is the mount of the Ioniq 5, which has an aluminum mount.
Where is that located?
This is on the upper part of the strut mount.
It's on the top, inside there. That silver part, the silver part you're holding right now, Mr. Banjang.
It is used compatibly with electric global modular platforms.
So this is what it looks like?
But this aluminum mount doesn't fit well unless it's a pretty high-end car.
You're referring to the end part we're currently discussing, correct?
Because the Trax also uses an aluminum mount.
That's how the recent ones have been made.
The Trax is in the 20 million won range, but people complain because a 60 million won car doesn't use things like this.
I took a close look at the row and thought, so that's the difference.
So if you look at this car, the damping sound is actually quite quiet.
Explain damping sound to us again. What exactly is damping sound?
It's the sound of the tires hitting the road, thump, thump, and that sound comes into the chassis like this.
There is a difference, which I was unaware of. how should I put it? There's really this feeling of it hitting my ears directly, and somehow, like, there's a thick filter, thump, thump. Should I say it's like the difference between basement level 3, the second floor, and the first floor?
Just because I used an aluminum mount, it doesn't drastically decrease, but instead I achieved it by adjusting things like the suspension dampers and the strength of the stabilizer. First of all, the intention behind the setup was to create a very smooth and luxurious feel.
If we sum it up here, it's not exactly the difference between the Ioniq 9 and the electric vehicle 9, but it does feel a bit more luxurious.
This one has it.
This one has it.
To achieve that, adjust the smoothness and rebound settings at low and medium speeds to find what works best for you. Some people, even if the car feels a bit unstable and bouncy, just prioritize having good cushioning.
My father
is the best. If you don't like feeling anxious while driving on the highway with your family, and you prefer something solid, that's what you should choose.
So as I mentioned earlier, someone like my father would prefer the Ioniq Q9, which has a more balanced or softer style.
The latest Hyundai cars are adopting this new design language.
This is also like the length of a woman's skirt.
It changes like a trend. From 2013 to 2015, Hyundai prioritized improving driving feel by making their cars significantly stiffer.
That's right. Like German cars, the Grandeur IG at that time.
Then, when the Sonata's third generation platform first came out, people were saying, hey, there's no difference from the Malibu, and they were trying to compete like that. But after 2000, it's been getting softer and softer.
Getting softer. The car that had that setting the most was the GV80, right? Every time I drove a model year updated, it felt different.
Personally, I prefer the feel of the 2022 GV80 over the others.
Mustang owners often have a favorite exhaust sound from a specific year. The 2022 model evokes that same feeling.
And the ones that came out after that, they loosened things up a bit too much.
Now, it's heading in a direction where things are getting smoother.
That's right. So if you look, the curb weight of this car exceeds 2.5 tons.
2.5 tons, you know.
It's like a tank. If you get hit by this, it feels almost like getting hit by a minibus. You have to be careful.
You have to avoid it. It's a tank vehicle. But what about the undercarriage of a tank?
The size of the crossmember is something you can't see in Hyundai cars.
Even though Mr. Banjang's fist is large, this is very thick.
I have large hands and wear at least large gloves. The member size is also very thick. If you look at the crossmember, you see the reinforced welding they've done all over the member.
Oh, I see it at the end there.
Having done something like this means extending a shared structure like a platform and reinforcing it accordingly. They've done well with these reinforcements.
The so-called well-shaped frame that many people talk about?
That's right. This one is even sturdier than the well-shaped frame. And not only is it a square, but if you look here, it extends out in a trapezoid shape as well.
At the ends of the basic well-shaped frame. You finished it well that way too.
They even reinforced it like this between the well-shaped pillars.
Even this one link helps with rigidity and support.
From a manufacturing cost perspective, extending the front member instead of cutting it is significant for the manufacturer.
You're right. In small cars, they used to cut this part a lot. They did cut it.
But now they've extended it. Of course, they extended it to support the front support, the friend support. But honestly, you don't have to cut here. You could just make a bracket here and do it like this. This part doesn't take any load, so...
Still, a sturdy material.
This reinforcement serves multiple purposes. Storage, supporting the lower part of the panel, and providing additional support.
There are secrets hidden like bones.
Next, pay attention to this. I praised this when I reviewed the Palisade, remember?
I think I know. The belt-type motor-driven power steering.
That's right.
Motor-driven power steering is exactly this,
The belt-driven rack-mounted dual-pinion steering has been applied. Real handling is when you sense road conditions through the chassis and steering wheel during everyday driving, steer accordingly, and observe the car's response. It's not just about aggressive turns, sharp moves, or quick maneuvers, but truly feeling the car's interaction with the road. But in that aspect, the feedback is really good.
Back when the feedback wasn't that great, wasn't CMD PS considered the best? No. You had to at least be R level. After going through those times, now even in rack-mounted dual-pinion steering, things are changing again with the belt system. That's especially true for the new Palisade we test drove last time, and also in the Ioniq 9.
Hyundai and Kia cars will continue to sweep the market with their innovations, as their features often get widely adopted by others. So from Hyundai's perspective, it's time to start using it now.
It's time to use it, but it doesn't just come up from the bottom, does it?
That's right.
After this, it's just imagination, but Carnival too.
That's right. When the Carnival gets a full change, or the Sorento gets a full change, they'll definitely switch to belt-driven systems.
Wouldn't that make them way too powerful?
They must, since such upgrades would likely increase the car price by around 10 million won.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm joking.
But since this isn't an internal combustion engine vehicle, it's got a reducer and a motor right now.
That's right, it's integrated.
It's really small.
Brands are now focused on making products that are small, integrated, modular, and slim. That's the current trend.
That's how the technology is these days.
Have you seen the commercials for electric cars these days? Only M advertises performance. Others like IONIQM focus on lifestyle, highlighting sliding and rotating space. To increase interior space, these parts must shrink.
In the end, the parts that used to make up the engine room, especially the big ones like the internal combustion engine and even the transmission, took up about half of the space.
That's right.
It's been reduced to that extent.
Even if we set aside the front, the most important factor in determining the interior space of a car is reducing the size of the integrated rear drive motor and reducer, which lowers the trunk floor that much. That's the key point, how compactly you can make this.
Mr. Banjang, and one of the questions we've been getting a lot on the channel recently is about the stabilizer.
Stabilizer.
It's related to car stability. It keeps both wheels balanced, hence the name anti-roll bar.
That's right. We call it a roll bar or an anti-roll bar.
But even with this type, there are hollow types and solid types.
It's not about which is better, whether it's hollow or solid. If you use the right size according to the car's weight and characteristics, both hollow and solid types are fine. Since perfect solutions aren't always possible, we're discussing this. The Explorer is hollow but as thick as a baby's arm at 35 millimeters, while the similarly sized Palisade is 25 mm. Manufacturers also mix hollow and solid types. For instance, the Palisade's all-wheel drive uses a hollow one. The all-wheel drive uses a hollow type. The two-wheel drive uses a solid type.
This is how it should be explained, but instead people say one is better or one is worse.
It's all about cost. Look at the simplicity of this structure. What's your opinion?
This one is bent a lot on both sides.
The structure is complicated. Even if the same type is used in the same car, the solid one is much pricier. For the Ioniq 5, the hollow type costs around 40,000 won, while the solid type used in the Ioniq 5N is nearly 70,000 won, showing a significant price difference.
Depending on the type of the car, it uses either the hollow type or the solid type.
Usually there is ample space in the front, and the front stabilizer bar is thicker, so the hollow type is often used there. However, for smaller passenger cars or in the rear, Hyundai and Kia mostly use the solid type.
Okay, so we're looking at the front suspension now, and this is the hollow type, right?
It's a hollow type, and they're using a 26.5 mm one right now. Despite being in the same 2.5-ton class as the GV80, this car's stabilizer bar is thinner. However, it still feels smooth to drive.
That's right.
The weight is getting better.
Let's check right behind you for a moment, sir, and see what kind of type is in the back.
In the back, we used a 21 mm solid type.
This one. It's a solid type in the back.
It's a 21 millimeter solid, but look at this. There's a space here where something can pass through, and from above, you can see the gap like this.
There isn't any.
It's cramped, right? So to achieve the same strength, the hollow one has to be thicker, but the solid one can be made thinner. That's why they use it like this. That's why, if you look at the back of most passenger cars, you'll see a lot of solid types.
Because there's no space.
Because they need to be rigid and strong.
So generally, if you look at Hyundai standards, they tend to use solid types in the rear and hollow types in the front. That's the difference. And of course, there's a cost difference as well.
And rather than saying which one is better, the right type needs to be used for each car. I always say this. The Trax is over 500 kilo lighter than the Palisade and uses a 28 mm hollow type in the front, which among domestic cars, only the Genesis also uses.
You need to explain things like this and point out the differences, but people just say it's solid or hollow.
The stabilizer link is also shared with the Ioniq 5 since they use the same platform.
So they just attached it for now?
The fact that the stabilizer is a bit thin compared to the weight means they've set it up to be softer. It's connected to both shock absorbers, right? If it's thin, it gives the shocks more freedom, so when damping, it can respond more smoothly.
To put it nicely, it's flexible and soft. To put it negatively, it's loose. It means it's wobbly. Both are saying the same thing.
That's right. So compared to its class, I think they intentionally set it up to be a bit softer.
And if you look at this stabilizer here, you can see those bushings in the center. Could you explain them for us?
Could you try filming from here? You can see it well from here.
The bushing is currently on John Ryon Jok Banjang's finger.
We used a metal core and a bushing in the front.
Jungchul, what kind of car is Jungchul?
Let me explain what Jungshell is. It's like this.
It stays fixed.
Yes, there's metal inside here. Literally, there's metal in the central axis.
Ah, the fact that there's metal inside this rubber is called the Jungshell method.
That's right. The advantage of the Jungshell bushing is that it's very durable. People who have driven older cars know about stabilizers. Since the stabilizer moves, when you attach this, it makes a clattering sound, like riding a horse. Clack, 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 clack. Periodically. I had to change it regularly. For most modern cars, especially recent Hyundai or Kia models, stabilizer bushing replacements are rare. These metal bushings are durable and have strong clamping force. It's hard to hold this by hand. It's really difficult. So when you order a new stabilizer...
Is this a new one?
When you order a new one, the bushing comes pre-installed and bonded in place.
This is a used part, right?
Yes, this is a used part. The advantage of this used part is that it has metal inside, so it's durable, and since it grips well, the response speed is also good.
Because it's gripping tightly.
The stabilizer bushing acts as a reference point for the moving part to hold onto, allowing it to function properly.
Also, let's go take a look. Will the back be any different?
The back is different. Usually, Hyundai and Kia used to use steel bushings in the rear as well, but this one has been changed to non-steel bushings like the Palisade.
This one? So, Mr. Banjang, when you say non-steel, that means there's no steel, right?
That's right.
Then because I'm holding it tightly from the front, the feedback coming up from the ground is quick.
It's fast, but you know, what if you use the same movement but shorten the time and use your energy all at once to grab it? The wave would come thick and short, right?
Thick and short, this one.
To create a softer damping sound for a smoother ride, the current trend is to use non-ferrous metals.
That's interesting. So earlier when we talked about stabilizers, we discussed the difference between the solid type and the hollow type, right? It looks like even with bushings, there are similar differences.
That's right. Starting with the Santa Fe MX, 5 solid bushings were used, and with the Sorento facelift, the rear bushings were also changed to solid ones.
And last time,
Palisade and Ioniq also uses non-ferrous bushings like this, so the fact that they use these means they're focusing on ride comfort, aiming for a smoother ride.
I see. That's why you said it feels premium earlier.
And in the back, he loosened it up quite a bit too. The degree of freedom makes it flexible, but it may be uncomfortable during continuous movements, and the feeling varies from person to person.
That's good. I got that exactly. Stabilizer, anti-roll bar, and sway bar are used interchangeably, but I learned that there's a difference between solid and hollow types. And the reference point holding this, the bushing that serves as the reference point, it also matters what material is used inside the bushing, whether it has metal or not, right?
That's right. So when there's a model year change or a facelift for something like the Genesis, what do they say? They say they've improved the stabilizer bushing or the hydro bushing. Why? The structure. If you want to change the feeling while keeping the structure the same, it's like having the same shoes, but wanting them to feel more comfortable. What do? You change the insoles. It's the same thing. So those kinds of materials, where would you change those and put in a hydro bushing? There's no member bushing at the front here, but at the back they use member bushings. By making those into hydro bushings and combining different materials, they set it up to improve the ride comfort. The front of the vehicle closely resembles the electric vehicle 9 with a similar design and identical 360mm brake discs with 2 piston calipers. However, driving it today without the regenerative braking was a thrilling experience that gave me chills.
It gave me chills. This family vehicle might make you feel uneasy when filled to full capacity.
Because it's a car that weighs over 3 tons.
That's right. If you see 6 people,
it goes over 3 tons.
If you actually fill it up to 5 tons with this brake system,
it's unstable. Earlier, we had 6 adults on board.
It was fine when I was alone. Like you said, there's a big difference between using regenerative braking and not using it.
That's right. Regenerative braking plays a huge role in creating this braking force.
You're saying there's a big difference between just the basic brake system and when you add regenerative braking, right?
That's right. The physical brakes alone are a bit lacking.
But Hyundai has actually done a really good job with their brake systems recently.
Yes, their internal combustion engine cars are getting better.
They've improved. The Ioniq 9's base weight exceeds 2.5 tons, surpassing 3 tons when passengers are added. From that perspective, wouldn't a safety belt be better?
You're right, it's better to have more coverage. Although the main cover is removed, this one still has a full undercover.
It's amazing, really amazing.
Next, the battery, which you could say is half the price of this car, because the driving range is huge, right? So the battery size is also enormous.
Since it goes over 530 kilometers, it's really improved a lot.
That's right. In fact, if you look at people who get their electric vehicle 9 certified, there are a lot of people who drive over 700 kilometers.
With foot control, now we've switched to rear-wheel drive.
After switching to rear-wheel drive, I honestly can't tell what's changed. It feels the same. The researchers have likely improved the internals, though I'm unsure about the appearance. What was impressive about this vehicle was that the noise from the motor reducer barely made its way into the cabin.
This small part is the rear motor, right? They reinforced the sound-absorbing materials, so now you don't hear that buzzing sound like before.
I still need to drive it more. It doesn't happen immediately when the car is new.
Still, back in the day, even when the car was new, our team leader, even with our Ioniq 5 or 6, even from the very beginning back then, that's how it was. As we examined the cars released later, we discussed 2 topics. The buzzing sound quieted down, but the jerky motion made me feel incredibly nauseous, which was difficult to bear. But that feature was added in the Ioniq 6, right?
Let's take a look at the back. If you look at the back, can you spot anything that's changed here?
This is like a hidden picture.
It's really a hidden picture. It's hard to find.
From what I know, I believe that shiny object above is the air conditioner line.
That's right. This is the air.
Oh, I don't think that's what you're talking about. Is this black thick line the brake line?
This line is the caliper line.
I've gotten a lot better with calipers too.
I've improved a lot.
I've improved a lot. So what has changed? Wait, when you say something has changed, you mean it's different from the electric vehicle 9, right?
Since the KA electric vehicle 9 shares the body with the electric vehicle 9, what differentiates it? All right, let's take a look at the upper part of the Schuber mount from here to here.
Oh, you're talking about the sealed part here, right? The sealing and the sealed area over there. What's different about this part?
When we imagined the Genesis, what did we do? We used an alloy in the place of the Schuber mount in this housing.
That's right, by using a different material.
We use a different material, right? That's exactly what was used here.
Banjangnim, nobody would recognize this. It's impossible for anyone to tell. So, to put it simply, the steel on both sides and the steel in the middle are different, right? Why do they make it like that?
Because it's about rigidity, and ultimately it's about a sense of quality. So it's to make things like the damping sound that comes in from bumps at the mounting area a bit different.
So you said earlier that it feels a bit more premium when driving?
That's right, it felt really premium in the back.
This has been improved again.
And this time, with the release of a proper SUV, it now has a towing capacity of 2.5 tons, a torque vectoring system, and also comes with an auto-terrain mode. Even though it's an electric car, it's been made to be more like an SUV. And also, it's a later generation, so you could look at it that way too. They've been selling the electric vehicle 9 for a few years now, and they could have made improvements based on that experience to develop this car.
But while we were filming, I discovered something incredible.
What is it?
No, this spring here, it actually has hardware from Choi Hongman, who's like a Goliath.
If you take this out, you'll see it has a lot of compression.
Wow, even the thickness, if you look at it on video, it's on par with a large Palisade.
That's right, it's much thicker than the Palisade.
Why is it made this big?
The car weighs 2.5 tons, and with passengers and luggage, it reaches 3 tons. Due to its weight, the vehicle requires spring tension appropriate for a 3-ton load.
In the end, the suspension plays an important role in creating ride comfort and driving performance. In the suspension, physically, there are the shock absorber, the spring, and another part that Director Kwan emphasizes, the stabilizer.
It's not that all 3 of these are good, so it's good. You should think of the suspension as a matter of compatibility.
Compatibility.
If this compatibility matches well, it gives a good feeling, but just because you put together all excellent products doesn't mean the compatibility will be good.
Because someone with good-looking eyes, nose, and mouth doesn't necessarily end up being handsome.
When spring tension is strong, you can reduce the stabilizer slightly. For instance, in the Ioniq 5M, despite being a stiff car, the front stabilizer is only 25 millimeters thin. The car has an electronically controlled suspension that uses very stiff springs.
Because the springs were stiff.
It matches that combination.
That's right. Today, as we drove the Ioniq 9, the Ioniq 9 felt smooth. So,
because it's smooth, what else was added is, if you look here, a self-levelizer. So right now, the self-levelizer is a Mando product, and I think self-levelizers will become much more common in the future.
I'm actually doing this myself.
The Palisade and electric vehicle, 9 from their initial release, have been widely used and included this feature. But in multi-passenger environments, self-leveling shock absorbers offer many benefits. They adjust based on factors like load weight. When there were 6 of us riding, the ride quality got even better, right?
The ride quality, yes.
The advantage of this self-leveling shock absorber is this. The rear maintains a consistent ride quality, even with many passengers. Unlike regular springs where the shock absorber's stroke range shortens and ride quality worsens when the rear sags under a heavy load.
That's true.
But it was good earlier, even though we went over some rough roads. So this self-leveling suspension now in SUVs.
Self-leveling systems are becoming standard. It reminds me of the old Veracruz vehicle.
Yes, the top-of-the-line models from Veracruz Santa Fe had self-leveling suspension.
They were luxury models, right? It was a time when you couldn't even dream of having that feature. So it was considered a very high-end option, one of the premium shock absorbers, but now it's become standard.
That's right, that's right. And now that Mando is producing them domestically...
Today, while driving the Ioniq 9, what I found a bit disappointing was that it was smooth and luxurious. But on the other hand, to put it differently, it's a bit dizzying.
If you make it too loose, there are some drawbacks that come with that as well. If you loosen it smoothly like this in a single row, when driving, the car's weight makes the front row seats feel comfortable, but the second and third rows can be quite uncomfortable.
I sat all the way in the back, right? While the ride in the first row feels really nice and luxurious. In the very back, it feels a bit loose. If that happens, Chief, what should I adjust?
Normally, if you want to control the roll in the back, you have to replace the stabilizer. That's what you do in that case. This car, the same size as the Ioniq 5N at 21 millimeters, hasn't been out for long.
So that means it has some rigidity of its own, right?
That's right. Even though it has rigidity, the car is just too heavy. Let's take a look at the structure. This one also uses a full multi-link system in the rear. As we always say, all the suspension components are contained within the crossmember
frame. So
the crossmember frame is connected in a rectangular shape from here. And in fact, you just remove the connectors that are attached. Then, if you just loosen these 4 bolts, this will break off, including the motor. If you look at our specification sheet, this is the most confusing part. The Palisade, Santa Fe, this one, that one, and mine all have multi-link suspensions. But even among multi-links, there are different levels. So if you look, this one is called a 5-link multi-link. And if you look at the front assist arm, it's positioned diagonally like this.
yes, just that one. The second one over here, the one that goes up,
Next, the center upper compartment.
you can see the hand in the middle. This is the third one.
That's right. And then the lower compartment at the bottom.
And the compartment at the bottom.
There is.
At the back and on the side. Oh, so there are 5 of them?
Strictly speaking, if you count the shock absorber, there are 6.
6. So the supporting parts are what we call multi-link. And if you exclude the shock absorber, there are 5 links. So it's called 5-link.
And now, usually, regular vehicles have one part connected from the front knuckle to the chassis like this.
The Palisade's chassis was like that, right?
So it's shaped like this to serve this kind of function. That's what it does. Its advantage is that it allows for a spacious interior, and that kind of structure is used in more affordable platforms.
Now I totally get it.
Yes, but this structure takes up a lot of space. That's because there are 2 arms in the front. And instead of a trailing arm,
Instead of having an arm here,
the trailing arm uses 2 front trailing arms. One goes down diagonally and moves, while the other is in the center.
it's all empty space.
Yes, it also takes up a lot of space. But the reason we use this is because as the wheels move, this alignment section is very reliable, so it's used in high-end cars.
The 5-link suspension of the electric global modular platform Ioniq 9 method used in high-end cars is shown here. I'm emphasizing this explanation because manufacturers use the terms multi-link interchangeably, which can lead to confusion. You can't really tell. That's why we're looking at the undercarriage, and what you're seeing now is the undercarriage of the Palisade. There's a trailing arm like this. With this structure, you can maximize the interior space. But when it comes to movement, including the degree of freedom of the joints, it also has its own drawbacks.
That's right. The Palisade's lower body is sturdy, resulting in a refined feel when absorbing bumps, even with a slightly softer suspension setting. This solid structure contributes to the vehicle's overall ride quality. If the Palisade's suspension is too stiff, it feels unpleasantly hard. However, if a solid car like this has a firmer suspension, it feels more stable.
So to sum this up, in the Palisade, one of the links was attached to the chassis, right? But on the electric global modular platform, most of the links are
Attached to the crossmember.
all attached. So it's a full multi-link, right? When judging a luxury car, consider the platform. The 3rd generation platform and the electric car global modular platform are different. Which platform is superior?
It's a bit hard to say which one is better, but if you look at which one goes into more expensive cars, it's the global modular platform, right?
So global modular platform is a more advanced method.
That's right, because it has McPherson multi-link in the front and full multi-link in the rear.
I see. So when you actually drive the car, you can definitely feel that sense of luxury, right?
Apart from electric global modular platform electric vehicles, the GV70 is the starting point if Hyundai or Kia want to use this system.
I haven't encountered a system like this before.
The GV70 is the minimum model required for this feature.
You need at least something like the Genesis GV70 to have these kinds of links.
Customers spending 60-70 million won discuss this, but for the car's chassis or basic configuration, you can simply opt for the vehicle's base value.
Seeing a car's undercarriage and driving it is different from just driving without knowing what's underneath.
Ioniq 9. As soon as it came out, I test drove it today and checked the undercarriage, and it was refreshing. But now I also think maybe they tried too hard to make the ride comfort too soft.
If you like it soft and comfortable, you can just ride it as it is. But for those who want a bit more firmness in the back,
then try test driving the electric vehicle 9.
that's a good idea.
Try test driving the Ioniq 9.
And decide which one you like better.
Because, as I mentioned earlier in the test drive video, since I commute on the highway, I said I would probably choose the electric vehicle 9. But it's not about who's right or wrong. You buy a car based on the features you want and your own preferences. So just get the features you need.
That's right. There's no need for you to argue. If you want a smoother option, in our experience, the Ioniq 9 felt smoother. For a more balanced and firm ride, go with the electric vehicle 9.
The electric vehicle 9 is a bit firmer, that's right.
It's not that one is better than the other.
That's right.
Ban Jiangnim prefers the EV9, while I'd pick the Ioniq 9 for city driving. They suit different needs. Today, what I was curious about with Ban Jiangnim is that instead of analyzing many things about the undercarriage, he explained one or two things in depth. And I actually think this method is better.
Some people say this is really difficult, and they are right. Anyway, instead of explaining things like sharing platforms again, I think it would be better to explain the things you're curious about.
Personally, I felt that the third generation platform and the electric global modular platform are quite different. Even now, when I think about it, how did Ban Jiangnim find this? How did he manage to find it?
I just glanced at it while passing by and thought, why is there a rivet here? Then I looked closer and realized it was different.
So you noticed it because you know about the undercarriage.
Additionally, the caliper is positioned relatively low compared to the center point.
Oh, you're right. There's a reason for its position too.
It's different because sometimes you need to lower the center of gravity, and when you're setting up the lower body, you can see that some really fast cars have their calipers positioned extremely low.
Because it affects driving performance.
When considering factors, it appears the reduction wasn't solely due to the caliper's weight. I think maybe a high-performance version of this might be in the works as well. So, you rode around with me all day today.
I rode around.
How was it? Did you get to ride it today?
If I were to describe it just by the ride comforts, I like the Ioniq 9. Today, when I rode it, the first row was very comfortable and the second row was decent too. But when I sat in the third row, I felt a bit of motion sickness in the back.
The third row in cars should be considered primarily for emergency use.
So what was even more disappointing was that last week, the new Palisade had electronic controlled suspension. That's right. Hey, that thing is huge.
That's right. After driving the exact same section today, it's different. This one is usually good, but when things get hectic, it seems to lack that extra support needed. For something like the Ioniq 9, I feel like they should have included the premium features.
But when discussing the electric vehicle 9 earlier, we speculated that premium features would be included in the future model.
Since electric cars are a bit less popular these days, they might release it like this for now, and then add those features with a model year change.
Now, the electronic control suspension has been significantly refined
and improved.
The only disappointing aspect is that when the electronic control suspension is installed,
if it could just hold a little bit in those specific situations while staying this smooth, it would feel completely different. Even just that much would make me really like this car.
You're right. It has such a solid chassis, but if I had to point out something to be desired, wouldn't it be the ultimate if it also featured electronically controlled suspension that could suppress pitching and rolling?
But then again, the price would also...
The price.
This one costs much more than the Palisade, right? They're similar at the entry level, but with added options, this one exceeds 80 million won. And also, every time I see the electric global modular platform, I always feel that the undercarriage is really solid. It's sturdy, but the tuning is a bit softer to match Korean preferences.
Today, looking at the undercarriage of the Ioniq 9 today, I noticed there are differences compared to the electric vehicle 9 that came before, and there are improvements being made. I like these aspects.
They're sibling cars, but they were completely different. Yes, completely different. The feeling is totally different.
They're completely different. It's night now. Ban Jiangnim.
We've been riding around all day today.
Thank you to Ban Jiangnim Go Min Soo for explaining everything in detail until late today.
Thank you. You worked hard.